How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go and do a mission called Dude, Where's My Trailer? Yeah, it's to unlock the trailer store on the Flatland map. It's a bit of a trek, this one. Fortunately, once you get the trailer store, it's not like a bad drive from the garage to the trailer store. I still would prefer it as just in the garage. Yeah, so down to there to get 2 service or vehicle spare parts, I think it was, and then to that metal factory to get 1 metal beam and 2 metal rolls, and then all the way back up to the top of the map to yeah, that little location that it's going to become a trailer store. And it also, well, it just says access to location, but then it's a warehouse. So yeah, you get the warehouse unlocks vehicle spare parts as well. I think, yeah, the same as I'm delivering. Always nearly get them mixed up, service spare parts and vehicle spare parts. Yeah, so for this one I'm taking the Kenworth and the Paystar. Obviously at the minute I haven't got a trailer store until I do this mission. It requires 6 lots of cargo, so I was kind of thinking in the end I'll do a road train. Do you know what, I almost set up thinking, whilst I was building a vehicle, I thought, oh, I could put a saddle low on and take like a step deck, and then I thought to myself, oh yeah, I've not got a trailer store yet. And the entire time I was setting up to run a ramped flatbed, and at the last minute I was like, oh yeah, shit, I haven't got a trailer store. So yeah, to revise the plan slightly. I'd already got the Paystar though. I was going to have like a 3-slot sideboard and then a trailer, and then squidge the loaf in there. Yeah, and then realised that wasn't going to happen, so brought the Kenworth out for this one. At the minute I'm using Kenworth as the lead vehicle. I couldn't even remember that this had a high range gearbox in it. It's not like the official high range, it's got 7 gears, not 8. But it feels better. Like, for example, it'd be nice if they could put at least this gearbox in that Fem truck, because yeah, it just feels too horrifically slow at the minute. Again, especially on maps that are like, this is a bit of a decent size. That's what she said. Yeah, as well, as I'm like just after I set off from the garage really, it seems better that if you just cut through those trees, which are actually not that awkward in that section, you get to these fields which are just a lot easier to cut through than following the road. Actually worked out pretty nicely. And then yeah, I've got some goddamn horses with me, mainly for fuel, because I was kind of figuring not so much the Kenworth, because that's got like 510 litre fuel tank and I don't think it nails it particularly fast, whereas the Paystar is definitely one of the thirstiest trucks in the game. It's getting on for about what the Navistar does, which is, yeah, drink a shitload of fuel. So I knew at some point that I'd probably be complaining. And then I put a crane on it. In the end, I did use the crane a little bit, not for the cargo in the end, more for loafs. For some reason, like, I'm pretty certain I've packed the loaf on the roof of the Kenworth before. I think it was the snorkels that, like, invisible hitboxes were just being awkward. And I didn't really want to recover it and take the snorkels off, just because you never know. I knew I wasn't really going to use the snorkels for this particular mission, but now I've done this mission, I'm going to leave these vehicles kind of at the trailer store, and yeah, you never know, in the future might need them snorkels. And I was kind of thinking, well, I'm assuming the Paystar would have been quicker to use as the lead vehicle, because it's got like a proper high range gearbox. I do prefer the Kenworth, just like looks of it, the engine sounds good, all the rest of it. Yeah, once you actually up into like 7 out of 7th gear, it's not too bad. But I think, at some point, I think I might get bored of making this a lead vehicle and switch over to the Paystar. Just for these boggier sections anyway, because yeah, just when you're towing a vehicle, I kind of figured as well when I was setting off, like if I was in the Paystar and I'm in the high range, but I'm dragging this thing behind me, this would probably be slower and it'd end up kind of slowing me down overall. I was sort of hoping if I can get into 7 out of 7 in the Kenworth, it should about balance out that towing this thing behind me, just the speed it forces you to go when you're towing a vehicle, might average out to where, yeah, they both kind of sit at about the same pace, but in the end, yeah, just switch vehicle once this thing gets in high gear. It does make use of that high fuel usage. Yeah, you can see there, 30, is that 33? There's yeah, it's definitely pretty juicy. I've seen the Navistar get up to about 35 odd. Maybe this can get a little higher as well, but yeah, they're about the same. They're, again, pretty ridiculous on the fuel. It was weird as well, because it was this is the bit where, like, certain bits of the road was slowing me down. Now it's forcing me to stay in first gear, which it does quite a lot, but as you can see, now the Kenworth behind me, just in, like, the, I don't know, road train mode where it's got a winch to it, like zombie winch, is going quicker than my Paystar can. I've been mashing L1 trying to get it up to second gear or above. I put it in high gear and it was stalling on me. And then, yeah, like I say, the game was driving the bloody Kenworth faster than me. Which is weird, because in the same terrain, you'd assume then, being the slower truck, it would get slowed down a bit more. Actually, that's one thing I wish they would remove from this game, is like the whatever it is that forces you to stay in first gear on like various sections of the map. Even if I could mash L1 and go up to second, etc., and then it automatically kicks me out, I'd still enjoy the journey more than it just saying nope. Yeah, got it. Oh, I probably should edit this. It's kind of figuring out for a while, like, which truck shall I, which truck shall I need, yeah, 2, what was it, vehicle spare parts. I was trying to figure out which truck to put it in. In the end, I was hoping, the plan was to put it in the Kenworth, pack both the vehicle spare parts, and then pack the loaf on top. And what could possibly go wrong? Like I say, the snorkels in particular are being a bit of a pain in the ass with the hitboxes. As you can see now, I was pulling the loaf forward, which previously, when I was in the garage, the front wheels would hook over the roof, but it appeared to get extra caught on the snorkels. Did a front flip. That's pretty good thinking, loaf. I do need room for these yeah, vehicle spare parts again. Keep bloody nearly saying service spare parts. Get a winch on the back of the Kenworth to the loaf, bit of reverse just to get him started. His little wheels, I see him jump up on the bonnet. I mean, he is a goddamn professional. Yeah, then these stupid hitboxes again. Like, in theory, if I was just driving on my own, I'd leave it like this, because those snorkel hitboxes would actually kind of force me to stay hooked on there pretty well. But as I'm doing a road train, I won't be able to use the winch, so I've got the loaf, yeah, hanging off the back of the sideboard. Like I say, that was kind of plan B, because for some reason, yeah, the vehicle spare parts, they sit like, it must just be a bit too narrow, or the Kenworth was just being a bit awkward with, because I can't remember the Kenworth ever actually saying I can pack the bloody vehicle. It was, yeah, blocking me all night. And then now, yeah, from this, where I got the vehicle spare parts from, kind of zipping across the bottom of the map to the metal beam factory, or metal factory. It's got beams and rolls. Unlimited as well, which is pretty nice. Definitely not a massive fan of the cargo crafting in this game. If it works out, as long as it's not too insane. But yeah, generally speaking, I'd rather someone's already done that. I'm the delivery guy. I don't need to be building these things. And yeah, you just get various sections like this where the game just, again, keeps me in first gear. Can't really do a lot about it. Tried to run on the grass at the side just to, went in high gear and that, and in the end, yeah, it's like, sod it, I'm going fully on the grass, which, as you can see instantly, whatever this force you to stay in first gear and can't get in high gear cap going on immediately vanishes as soon as I just veer off the road to the side. There's also a field to the left which it could cut through, and the right. See, like in high gear there, as I was peeling off the road, it was just about to kick me out of it. To be fair, the Paystar's been, all things considered, considering I'm doing a road train and everything as well, it wasn't too bad for the high gear, other than like where it just forces you to stay in first. But that's just like the nature of the game. It doesn't really like going into high gear when you're in first, which I think is partly why they've done it like that. It was going great the whole way. Oh, there's a little footage glitch there, and at the last second I saw a bit of damage. I spun the camera around, and then yeah, I got caught on the crane, kind of flicked the loaf out of that. Which, to be fair, I was about to get the loaf out really anyway, because I'm going to load a metal roll. There is a scout fuel trailer here. I get wary now of scavenging from trailers just in case at some point in the future it wants me to do a mission with it, and then it'll tell me I'm not allowed because I've already stolen fuel or whatever from it. But yeah, in theory, there is one here. I do have 2 goddamn horses with me though, so it won't be needed. Yeah, 1 metal beam, 1 metal roll, but I'll put the other metal roll in the Kenworth. And yeah, thankfully the metal beams sit wide enough, they're always pretty good. See these like vehicle spare parts, they're just very narrow, and even though with some precision crane work and loafiness and all the rest of it, I managed to get the loaf sat on them, but Kenworth just wouldn't offer me the packed vehicle option. So, I put the loaf like that, thinking it might be good. And then it was one of those rare times that I managed to get barely a truck length, and the loaf started falling off, which is very uncharacteristic. I was wondering why we possibly done this to me, and then I realised I wasn't even looking where I was going, I even drove into a storm drain type thing. That is why the loaf fell off. He knew. He knew that's the only thing that would stop me. And it did. He was right. Thankfully, the magic of editing. Yeah, in the end, I put the loaf on the front. I use the winch at the minute, just kind of pull him a bit tighter on the bonnet. But yeah, generally speaking, it's another case though where those bloody hitbox snorkel things, if they were out of the way, he'd get fully on the bonnet. Yeah, so at the bottom of the map now I've got to go all the way up to the top past the nuclear power plant. And then at the minute I'm making the Kenworth the lead vehicle, mainly because for the majority of the way I'm going at the minute, I'm on roads anyway, so I knew it'd get up to like 7 out of 7th. And yeah, it should tick along quite nicely. Plus the other thing is, the Kenworth's got plenty of fuel. That was also another reason why when I set off from the garage, I originally made the Kenworth the lead vehicle, because at least if I'm towing the Paystar behind me, it's not going to be using a crazy amount of fuel if that's the lead vehicle, and I'm undoubtedly going to be squeezing the throttle flat out and trying to ram it in high gear and everything as much as possible. Yeah, I've already not got too much fuel left in it. I can't remember as well at this point. I might have already scavenged the... yeah, I think I have the loaf on the Paystar. I think I've already used that roof rack. Kenworth does sound good. And yeah, considering there's no winch on the loaf, he's hanging on there pretty well. Like that. I can't remember, I think it's up after I get through these dirt roads. I was also testing out, while I was towing the Paystar, I was turning the engine on and off, and as it turns out it didn't actually make one scrap of difference to my fuel usage. And at the time I was going along a road, but it didn't actually make any difference to my speed either, so yeah, that's something worth bearing in mind. Obviously some vehicles would probably then struggle to tow like a vehicle that's the engine switched off behind it, whereas this Kenworth, yeah, it was ticking along nicely. But yeah, that in its own right saved quite a bit of fuel, because I think just having the fuel on and it running along behind me doesn't make much difference, because the game just forces vehicles to go slow when you're towing them anyway. So once you get above a certain speed, even if the engine's on or not, it kind of, yeah, it's going to make it just act like an anchor that you're dragging along behind you. I feel like I can't talk properly tonight. While I was editing this and that, I decided I want to eat some chicken. And I bought these things the other day, like American style chicken things, and they were pretty nice, but one was salt and chili flavoured. Not so much with the salt, definitely with the chili. It was yeah, spicy as a motherfucker. And then the other one was it peri chicken, whatever the hell that's called, and that was, yeah, probably equally as spicy, so I just burnt the shit out of my mouth. It was pretty nice chicken. I also kind of forgot I was cooking them, so they got a bit extra cooked. Some very crispy batter. Maybe may have one or two less teeth than I started with. But yeah, burnt tongue, destroyed my mouth, but they were bloody nice. One of them even tasted like KFC chicken. Trying to go a bit delicate with the driving. Got my horse on board. He did fall off at one point, again, the magic of editing. To be honest, I wouldn't mind leaving the editing in, but the crane is so horrifically weak that I'm going to make an edit, and then at that point it's just like, once it's unclean footage, I just, yeah, like, meh. But if the crane worked properly, and it was a 15-second rescue mission, then yeah, I'd leave it in just because it's part of the game. I was tempted to go straight on at that point. You can kind of see tracks leading straight on, but it gets a bit rocky and bumpy and like uneven ground if you go that way, kind of cutting through the lakes. And yeah, the game had trolled me quite a bit tonight, so I kind of figured I won't push my luck too much. Well, more than the recommended daily amount. Yeah, this is that nuclear factory, or well, some big cooling tower things. And to be fair, this is one of those maps, for the most part, I think highway vehicles, there's a possibility for doing some missions with highway vehicles on it. The problem is, down some of the dirt roads, as usual, they just do like a little patch of super mud or death mud or whatever, and that's going to nail like a highway vehicle every time. But like I did with that field, if you can cut round it. But yeah, all the way, like, say from the garage down to where I got the vehicle spare parts, that was pretty plain sailing really. Like, it's probably the bit nearest the garage is the most awkward part. Once I'm at the fields where I was cutting across them and all the rest of it, that won't be too bad. The drive along the south of the map wasn't that bad either, and then from the metal factory up to the trader store, yeah, it's mostly highway again. I don't know if, I don't know, say like the Transtar, that little highway vehicle, I don't know if that'd fare too well. But the some of the more recent highway-esque vehicles we've had should do pretty nicely on this map. I thought it was there I was going. I don't know why. That's the where I think there is a fuel station out in there, which I'm not going to use. So again, this is why I bring loaves. I can make it in one run. I don't need them fuel stations unless I do. And I will apologise to that fuel station. Now again, it shrinks the screen. I think, yeah, turn on engine. So this is probably at the minute where I'm, yeah, 21.3 litres a minute. That's what, when I was turning the engine off and on, it didn't even make like a 0.1 of a difference. So you can see as well, just like I packed the loaf on the metal beams, and for whatever reason it slid one of the wheels off. Like I said, tonight it was just been a weird one tonight with some of the I don't know, the physics of the game was being a bit odd. I think that was the point, yeah, where I did turn the engine on. It did not like trying to get in the high gear, pulling that thing up the hill. Once got the engine on though, we're away. And yeah, this is the warehouse kind of place that you get access to. Trailer store being the main Brucey bonus from this one. It's actually a glitch, not an edit, but I'll take it. Worked out pretty nicely. See, because the loaf's leaning over, getting nice and close to that Kenworth sideboard. Now I know he wouldn't fall off while I pack the cargo, and then you see in the little animation you can see him wiggling his way back into the sideboard when he's in. That's what she said. Yeah, finally a trailer store. That is a horrifically bad horn. Yeah, so you get a trailer store and then it's kind of 2 in 1. It says access to location and then warehouse access, which is basically the same thing really. Yeah, went over there, there's vehicle spare parts, that's it, but hopefully there's some future missions where that'll make sense. And yeah, like I say, that's that one in the bag. What did I do? Oh yeah, I just quickly spawned a radar trailer with a loaf, because as it turned out from the watchtowers and all the rest of it, this was like the only corner that wasn't quite uncovered. But yeah, that's it from the garage to the trailer store. Yeah, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.